Vibe sanity is what we're hoping for.
Consistent.
Virtual vibe sanity is what.
4. Okay. How are we doing for time? Okay, got just enough time to finish this. Right. So, what I forgot to tell you is that as this goes round, I'm going to put some notes in here. The notes will be in orange. Okay. And to show that these are musical notes, I'm going to put some music quotes there. Okay. 1/2 pound of tuppenny rice. So what the hell does that mean? Right, so hopefully you've heard that song. And the idea is the speed, how the hell do you spell tuppenny? Tuppenny rice. The faster you crank the wheel, the faster the music goes. And now I need to indicate that with some further writings. Oh no, I can't write in black, no one's going to see it. Maybe I should write it in the colour of the cranking motion. Faster crank equals faster music. Okay, so then on to scene 3. So, let's see if I can do a better job of reproducing, selecting what I need so that I don't have to redraw it because I'm a dreadful artist, as you've probably gathered. Okay, I'm the box. I don't want the person, just the box. Okay. Huh? Okay, how did... Oh, yeah. And then I need to grab it and move it. Yay! So the grip is to grab. So let's get rid of this because this bit has changed. In fact, that's not very helpful, is it? That bit of brown does not add much value. Let's get rid of the brown. Goodbye brown. Uh-oh, too much. Anyway, any brown over here? No. Good, that's the way we like it. Let's fill this back in. The box has sides again. This is important because if you change colour scheme from one scene to the next, that's just going to confuse people, and that will not do. Okay, so scene 3. This is when, okay, now we can get rid of, where are you lot? You're over there. Let me get out of your way. So this is when our punter, what colour is our punter? Our punter's green. Our punter springs back in alarm, jumping up in the air, hands aloft, going, ah! Why? I'm sure you've guessed. Because the purple coloured, the lid has, that's not the same purple as before. I'm sure to people who have better sense of colour than me, that is not purple, but for a crude scientist like me, this is indeed, uh-oh, now I have to remember what tool I was using. Dope. I think it was marker flat. Ink. Oh, I don't think it matters too much. So the box springs open on pop. £1 a tuppenny rice, £1 a treacle. That's the way the money goes. Pop. At the moment of pop, obviously it's just the music, but were there to be lyrics going along with it at the moment of pop, it springs open. Oh no, hang on, I've put these motion lines in the wrong direction. Go Earth way. And what comes out from within is, you guessed it, a jack-in-the-box of sorts. But what you may not have guessed is that on top of the spring, instead of a jack, would be a lovely little brain, which I will try to render on the spot. No, it's way too pink for a brain. It's kind of a very light pink. So brains kind of look like that. There's the temporal lobe. Here's the prefrontal cortex. Is that? See, this is where I think Tilt Brush is not as good as the other one, Masterpiece, because I've made some lovely brains in Masterpiece. It allows you to draw with a sphere of whatever size you want, or a cube with whatever size, so you can make blocky things much more easily. I think people who have skills as an artist and illustrator, I've certainly met a couple of people who prefer to build stuff in Tilt Brush, because I think it suits. It sort of looks more like brushstrokes, and so that suits a lot of people's aesthetic taste. But for me, someone who's not, I decided to call myself aesthetically challenged. That sadly doesn't really look like a brain. But the joy of VR storyboarding is that you can annotate and say, brain. Oh, I'm encroaching on the next scene. In a box. Okay. But that's not all. There's more. At that point, we also have marbles pinging out. Oh, that's not red. Pinging out in all directions. Can you see where I'm going? Can you tell what it is yet? Hang on. Let's get rid of that properly. Huh. What? I thought it reappeared. Oh. I think I'm accidentally triggering something that I've needed a few times, which is to undo. And I don't know what I'm doing to make that happen. So I'm sure all will be revealed. So let's have one of these marbles going off in this direction. Ping. Well, that's probably a bit thicker than we needed. Let's make the marble bigger. And then we'll have a red one going off in this direction. Well, actually, let's keep it uncrowded. Not terribly spherical, but... So, we'll do one more, because... Well, obviously, I can, when it comes to making it for real, I can decide how many marbles I need. Right, and then the brain says, where shall I put the brain's utterances? Has anyone said anything yet? No. So I think white is a good colour to write writing in a black world, in a dark world. So, speech bubble. Look what you've made me do. do. So then the script would go on, but essentially the user is going to find this brain is a sort of animated character who's having a go, saying, what the hell are you doing? You've ruined my life because you've made me lose my marbles. Let's make this more spherical, and let's make this as big as the others. Oh, did I tell you these were marbles yet? Maybe not have mentioned that. And that's where we're going to save it for number 4. Scene 4 will be sort of the end. Select. So let's just select everything. Oh, nice. Nice sound effect. So put your hand in, press the analog button to duplicate, reach in, hit the grip button, take the duplication, move it across to scene 4. Boop. Okay, so at this point, our character here, we can delete this version of him. What? I must have clicked go back again. Uh-oh. Now it's doubled up. Oh, I must learn. Oh, that's really frustrating. I accidentally clicked undo. I'm sure there's a pamphlet somewhere that can help me. Well, I'll just take the doubled up version. Doesn't matter. This is just a rough sketch, as you can tell. Even I would prefer to do it a little bit more neatly than this. Okay. No. Duplicate. What? Oh dear. Somehow I didn't take the box. Okay, selection. Uh-oh, now I really need to find out what go back is. Oh gosh. Okay, this is all going horribly wrong. You can tell I'm a beginner, can't you? We'll just redraw it very, very quickly from scratch. It doesn't matter. So there's your spotlight. Spotlight, circle, with all the action in it. You got your box with the lid open. Purple colours. And you got your brain. I think I need a different tool with a slightly thicker thing. You got your brain having a go at you. And by this point you've landed. What colour are we? The man is green. The human is green. No sex isn't in this studio. Perhaps standing there, hands on hips, going, what the hell is going on here? And then the brain says, you've made me lose my marbles. Thereby setting the user of this particular tremendously exciting experience on a mission to go and find aforementioned marbles, which are, oh, wrong colour, which are rolled, that's not very red, is it? Let's go for a proper red. Rolling now out of view, because it's pitch black over here. Rolling out of view. Let's see, which way did the red one go? The red one was the middle one. So The blue one has now landed and is over here somewhere, rolling off in that direction. And you basically have to get the marbles back in order that our brainy friend can function normally again. And yes, you've guessed it, it's going to be a quest which enables you ultimately to learn how your brain works. Oh, what happened there? Oh, it just wasn't visible from that perspective. Well, that won't do. Okay. There you go. Scene 1. Start off with a box in the room. Scene 2. Doubled up, really confusing, with a squiggle inside it, which is not helpful. Take away the duplicate person. That should be fine. Take away the duplicate. Jesus, what's going on here? Can I move this bit? Oh. Just redraw it. Yeah, there you go. And then this is just sort of act 1, if you like. Winds the crank. Jack in the box, brain in the box, pops out on pop. You've made me lose my marbles. Now go and get them back. And then, boom, onto act 2. Set out to figure out how to sort the situation out. There we go. So let's save it. I think that's about time we call it a day. Saved. Right. Hooray. So, pretty good, huh? Fast forward. Let's get back to the beach. It's really starting to rain now. I feel like I genuinely am immersed in water, stuck inside a boat. Fisherman's Tale is one of the most imaginative games I've ever played in VR. I genuinely feel like I'm inside an amazing 3D animation, something that maybe Pixar would create. The team that put that stuff together to make it look so beautiful, to make the movement so seamless, brilliant. The gameplay, the user experience of sort of, always being in a room where, my obsession with physically moving around in space. When you reach across and do things, and you minimize the teleportation and maximize the physically putting one leg in front of the other, having to stoop down, having to go up on tiptoes to look over and try and find missing pipes, for example. That is a wonderful thing, and this game lends itself naturally to that kind of interaction with the virtual reality world, and thereby, me as a neuroscientist, I'm telling you, that is how you trick brains with only visual and auditory information available, by adding into that mix your proprioception, your knowledge of where your body is in space, by changing the information you're sending to your inner ear, by accelerating across the room or tilting your head. All of this stuff feeds into the brain's expectations, and when the sensory information matches it perfectly, your brain's utterly convinced you're there. But lots of things do that. Fisherman's Tale does it well. What the other things can't do that Fisherman's Tale does do is mess around with magnification brilliantly. Like, it is a real stroke of genius to have a small model where some things you have to interact on a small level, some things you have to control the bigger version of you. So you've got the micro version, the macro version, and then the sort of real virtual reality, the normal you-sized version. And having to cross the line between those different magnifications. So, for example, when I used, what did I do? I used the big guy to take the normal size ladder and hook it up, right? I love that I get stumped. It might have been a bit boring for you lot to watch. I'm sorry about that if it was. But I guess you're watching now still. You're one of the 1 in 100 who actually bothers to watch it till the end. So hopefully you get something out of this. But that crossing the line is really mentally challenging. Like, you often can't work it out on the fly. And overnight, I think I dreamt about it, and I think the solution was, I think that when I got the ladder in place, didn't I take the miniature version? I can't remember which way round it was, but I think even though when I go normal size me, into the small version of the Fisherman's Tale lighthouse, I think even though there's no ladder there, I think I have to do the motions to do it so the big version of me can grab it. I still don't know what I do with it once I've managed to grab it, because surely the whole point of putting it there so that I could climb up and get through the crack. It's almost like can I pick up the miniature version of me and then take it in the fish over to the ladder and then put it through the crack? No, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, the point is that it's a game that keeps on giving, in the sense that you're not just stuck on a certain part of it when you're in the game. You continue thinking about it afterwards when you're back in reality. And I think that's really nice. I think that's wonderful that the game is that compelling that you continue to try and crack it afterwards. And anyway, I hope you also enjoyed the little tilt brush adventure. I think it's great to be able to do that. I'm actually getting I'm playing football with my brother on Sunday, and he's the real artist in the family. Like, he's got real talent, and I cannot wait to put him in tilt brush. He thinks he's coming over to play all sorts of games. I'm not going to let him. I'm going to put him in tilt brush and see what happens. So I'm going to record it so you can see what he creates. And compared to my little storyboarding effort, slightly clumsy and ugly aesthetic, I might get him to do my homework for me. Why not? If I come to develop when I come to develop VR games of my own, it's not like I'm going to be doing all the art myself. They'd be the most appallingly ugly games the world had ever seen. So that's nonsense. Anyway, that's enough babble from me. It's been absolutely brilliant to have you along. Don't forget, next Tuesday I'll be here again. Please like, subscribe, jump for joy. Do anything in your power to make sure that you stay happy and healthy, involving just virtual reality and virtual unreality. Hang on, wait, no. Unreality, oh, you know what I mean. Catch you next week. Life's much better, yo.